Good morning everyone. Today we will take a new chapter, that is chapter 14, statistics. Previous years you already studied about statistics and you can find the measures of central tendencies, that is mean, median and mode. And you also studied data. What is a data? Data, collection of meaningful information is called data. Collection of meaningful information. Example, marks obtained by 5 students in your class in subject maths, or height of 5 students in your class, or the height of 10 plants in or around your school. These are the meaningful information. That is collection of meaningful information is called data. There are two types of data, primary data and secondary data. Primary data and secondary data. Primary data means the information collected by the investigator by himself or herself in the mind. Okay, that is example is, in your textbook some examples are given. No. Example is the number of vehicles in our society. Then directly we can take the data. Okay, or the electricity bill of your school the last 5 years. All are primary data. Then what is secondary data? The secondary data means the information was gathered from a source which already had the information stored. Already we have to store the information. From that stored information we have to collect a data. That is called the secondary data. The example is result of election held in February 2017 obtained from televisions or newspaper. It is result of election held on February 2017 obtained from television or newspaper. From that television news or newspaper we have to collect the data. That is a secondary data. Then another one example is production of various agricultural products in the last 10 years in our country. Production of various agricultural products in the last 10 years in our country. We have to collect the data from first stored data. Okay, first one data is stored. From that data we have to collect this data, that is called a secondary data. Okay, one more example. The number of females per 1000 males in a particular state. These are secondary data and primary data. The first example 14.1, give 5 examples of data that you can collect from your day-to-day life. That is simple data you have to collect from your day-to-day life. Collect 5 data. Examples of 5 data. Okay. Then next class I will Google Meet, I will give the assignment about this data. Okay. Then classify the data in question number. First you have to collect some data. From that data you have to classify which one are the primary data and which one are the secondary data. Okay, there is a homework problem, exercise of 14.1. Next we have to study how to present the data, presentation of data. The given data we have to, how we can present the given data. Presentation of data. One data is the marks obtained by 5 students in your class in the subject English. 5 students marks is given out of 25. That is 20, 21, 19, 23 and 22. 5 students mark is given. This is a very small data. Okay. Here only 5 observations are there. This data is called raw data. Very small data. It is called raw data. Raw data. I think you already studied. Let's say raw data. Then your class and the data is the marks obtained by 25 students in your class. 25 students marks means here we get 25 observations. All of you open your textbook page number 240. Example 2. 30 students marks is given. 30 students marks is given out of 100. 30 marks are there. Some students score 40 marks. Scored by how many students? 4 students scored 40 marks. Here, this is a large data. So, here we can represent this data using a table. It is called a frequency distribution table. Frequency distribution table. Table is called a frequency distribution table. Here, table is given. In one column, we have to write the students' marks. Students' marks. Second column, we have to write the number of students. Number of students score the mark, that is frequency. That is called a frequency. If here the lowest mark is 10 marks scored only 1 student. Here the frequency is equal to 1. Then the next mark here is 20 marks scored only 1 student. Next 36 marks scored how many students? That also 3 students. This way we can prepare the table, and this table is called a frequency distribution table. This way we can present the data, and also this table is called a ungrouped frequency distribution table. Ungrouped frequency distribution table. In your textbook page number 241, the table is there, ungrouped frequency distribution table. So, the given data we have to represent the first method is, that is ungrouped frequency distribution table, or simply we are saying the frequency distribution table. Okay. Here only 30 students are here. Marks scored by out of 100. Your textbook page number 240 and 41. 41 the table is there. This way we can prepare the table. That table is called the ungrouped frequency distribution table. Okay. Here marks and the number of students obtained the mark, that is frequency is given. This is called the ungrouped frequency distribution table. Then example 3, page number 241. There are the marks obtained by marks noted. 100 plants each were planted in 100 schools during Vanamahotsava. After 1 month, the number of plants that survived were recorded as there 100 numbers are there. Here it is a very large data. So, first table we can write only 30 students are there. The marks we can write only number of marks are there. Okay. But here only some students here 56 marks for 2 students, 60 marks for 4 students. Okay. That way we can easily prepare the ungrouped frequency distribution table. Next one, 100 plants are there, that is 100 numbers are there. There we can prepare a frequency distribution table. It is called a grouped frequency distribution table. Grouped frequency distribution table. Group frequency distribution. Here we have to prepare the class interval or classes. Class interval or classes. Class interval or classes and the class width. Okay. Here in your textbook, the numbers are 100 numbers are there. Here the smallest number is which one? 20. Smallest number is 23. Okay. Here we want to prepare a class interval and the highest number is 99. So we can prepare a class interval here. Here we have to prepare the class interval or classes. The smallest number is 23. We can prepare a class interval 20 to 29, 20 to 29, then 30 to 39, 40 to 49. This is called the class interval or classes. Here 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Here this class interval has 10 differences are the class width is equal to 10. Class width or class size. That is here we can how we can find out the class width or class size. That is including 20 to 29. There are 10 observations are there. That is called class width or class size. Okay, it is 20 to 29, 29, 29, 30 to 39 and 40 to 49. This way we can prepare the class interval and tally mark, that you know, tally mark and frequency. We can prepare the grouped frequency distribution table. Okay, here in this class interval, here 20 to 29. The highest number and low. In the lowest number, the highest number is called and this is 20 and 29. This is called the lower limit and this is called the upper limit. The highest number is called the upper limit and the lowest number is called the lower limit. This is upper limit and this is called the lower limit. Upper limit and lower limit. Then one more method is there. How we can find out the class width or another name is class size. How we can find out the class width or class size of this class interval is upper limit minus lower limit plus 1. What is upper limit here? 29 minus lower limit 29 plus 1. That is 10 is the class width of this class interval. All the class intervals, the class width or class size is same. Okay, that is a data is here. All the work out all the problems. The class interval is or classes or class interval is given. Okay, similarly you can write the class. First one or two class interval is given. Same way you can write the continuous class interval. No need to prepare the class interval in yours. Okay, in 9 minutes. So, from the data, we have to prepare the class interval. The next column, tally mark, and this column, frequency. This way we can prepare the grouped frequency distribution table. I will draw. First look at textbook. Page number 243, sorry, page number 242. Number of plants survived, class interval is given. And the tally mark is given and the number of schools, that is the frequency, is given. This frequency table is called a grouped frequency distribution table. Grouped frequency distribution table. 3 columns. The given data we have to represent using grouped frequency distribution table. Here class interval. Here tally mark. Here frequency. Okay. First class here we have to 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, etc. From that data you have to check from 20 to 20, including 20 and 29, how many numbers are there in that data? Only how many? 3 numbers are there. Which are there? 20 to 29. Look at textbook. 3, 27, 27, 28, 23. So you have to put the tally mark 1, 2, 3. Frequency. Then 30 to 39. How many numbers are there? 30 to 39. 1, 2, 3, 4. 14 numbers are there. How you can represent the tally mark? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have to put a cross line. This one bundle is 5 represented by 5 observations. 10, 3, 4. That is 14. This way we can prepare the grouped frequency distribution table. Okay, this is called the class interval. The highest number is called the upper limit, lowest number is called the lower limit. Here the class size or class width is 10. How we can find out the class width or class size? Including the lower limit and upper limit, we can count and find out the class width. Or other method is there, upper limit minus lower limit plus 1. Okay, you will get the class size or class width. Okay. Here the class interval is 20 to 29. Here if the height of the students is another data, the height of 100 students, 60 students in a class is given and you have to prepare a data. Then one student height is 39.5. In this class interval, where you have to put the tally mark 39.5, where you have to put? Here after 39, then next class will start by 40. How? Where you have to put the tally mark in the observed, the given data. A number is 39.5. So we can prepare another class interval, that is called a continuous class interval. If a class interval is given, we can change the class interval into continuous class interval. In continuous class interval, here 2 class interval I am taking here 20 to 29 and 30 to 39. If the given 2 class intervals are continuous, then the upper limit of the first class interval is equal to lower limit of the second class interval. That is 0 to 1 to 5, then 5 to 9. Here in this class interval, its upper limit is equal to the lower limit of the second class interval. Okay, that way we can convert the class interval into continuous class interval. How we can change the given class interval into continuous class interval? We have to study the next. If the class interval is given here 22, 29, 32, 39, 42, 49. We want to change this class interval to continuous class interval. We have to add and subtract 0.5 to the lower limit and upper limit. Here in this class interval, it's a lower limit. Lower limit is equal to 20. We have to subtract this 20 minus 0.5. That is 20 minus 0.5. We get a 19.5. That is this class interval changing. The lower limit change 19.5. And add 0.5 to this upper limit. That is 29 plus 0.5. 29.5. Then this way you can continue all the class intervals, then it will become continuous class interval. Here 30 to 39. We have to subtract 0.5 from here, we get 29.5. And add here 39.5. Again we have to subtract 0.5 from here, we get 39.5. And add 0.5, we get 49.5. This class interval is called a continuous class interval. Okay. This class interval we have to use in drawing histogram and frequency polling, etc. That graph this year deducted from our portion. But here one exercise, second exercise, one problem is changed into continuous class interval. So that is why I explained it. Okay. But this is a class interval is not continuous, because if continuous class interval is there, the first class interval, previous class interval's upper limit is equal to lower limit of the next class interval. So here equal. Therefore this class interval is called the continuous class interval. In the continuous class interval, we can find out the class size or class width only the upper limit minus lower limit. Here we have to find out the class size or class width, the upper limit minus lower limit plus 1. Or including these two observations, we can count and find out. In continuous class interval, we can find out the class size or class width only upper limit minus lower limit. What is the upper limit here? 29.5 minus lower limit 19.5. 0. That is class size is 10. Here also the class size or class width is 10. Okay. That's the introduction of statistics. You will get so many 1 mark question from this portion. Okay. So first we have to explain data, then primary data and secondary data. Then we have to explain raw data. A small data is called raw data. There we want to explain one more thing, range. I think you already studied. After this I will explain. Then we have to explain the frequency distribution table. That is ungrouped frequency distribution table. Write the observation and the frequency. Next one is grouped frequency distribution table, class interval, tally mark and frequency. There the class interval, we have to find out the in a class interval. The highest number is called upper limit and lowest number is called lower limit. Then we can find out the class size or class width. Upper limit minus lower limit plus 1. If the class interval is changed into continuous class interval, the given class interval is want to change into continuous class interval. If we have to subtract 0.5 from lower limit and 0.5 to the upper limit. In a continuous class interval, the class size or class width is upper limit minus lower limit. One more thing is there, that is the range. The marks obtained by 5 students are given out of 25, 24, 23, 21, 25, 20. 5 observations are given. this is called a raw data. What is the highest observation here? Highest observation is 25 and lowest observation is, which one is lowest observation here? 20. Then range is the difference between the highest and the lowest observation is called the range of the data. Here we want to find out the range of this data. What is the highest observation here? 25 and lowest observation 20. Its difference 5. Therefore, range of this data is 5. Another one more question. What is a range? The difference between the highest and the lowest observation in the data is called the range of a. Okay. Next class we will explain the problems. Okay. All of you carefully read the introductions in your textbook. Thank you all.